You've got $400,000 in a Roth IRA, and the IRS is quietly hoping you never notice the hidden cost. Here's the thing. After 50, the math flips completely. Let me explain why your Roth strategy stops working. For 20 years, the Roth IRA has been treated like a golden egg. Tax-free growth, tax-free withdrawals, no distributions. Every advisor, podcast, and finance blog repeats the same line. Max the Roth, pay tax now, thank yourself later. In your 20s and 30s, that advice was mostly right. Low bracket, decades of compounding, small tax bill. But something fundamental changes after 50. Your income peaks, your bracket peaks, your time horizon quietly shrinks fast. Suddenly, the same Roth strategy that built your foundation starts working against you. Most people don't realize this. They keep pouring money into Roth conversions, celebrating the tax-free label, quietly leaving six figures on the table. Stay with me. The math after 50 gets uglier than you think, and the truth is genuinely surprising. Let me introduce the average investor. Call her Rachel, 54, earning $140,000 annually. She's got $500,000 saved. Her advisor tells her exactly what yours probably tells you today. Convert your traditional IRA to a Roth now. Pay the tax today. Enjoy tax-free income later in retirement. It sounds smart. It sounds safe. It sounds like the responsible move. But the math tells another story. Here's the thing. Rachel is about to pay 32% tax on money she'll never spend at that rate. She's paying peak career rates on retirement dollars that would have been taxed at 12 or 15% later. That's the trap. Nobody talks about it because tax-free sounds so much better than tax-smart to most people. The old Roth rule assumed one thing: your tax rate in retirement would be higher than today. For most Americans over 50, that assumption is simply wrong. You're standing at your earnings peak right now. Your kids are out of the house. Your mortgage is winding down. Your bracket is the highest ever. And the moment you retire, your taxable income drops by half, sometimes much more than that overnight. One number breaks the whole Roth story: your effective tax rate in retirement. Nothing else matters more. Here's where most people confuse themselves. There are actually two different tax rates that really matter here. Your marginal rate is the rate on your next dollar earned, the very top slice of income. Your effective rate is the actual average percentage you pay across all your income every single year. When you do a Roth conversion at 54, you pay your full marginal rate, 32% easily. But when you withdraw from a traditional IRA later, you pay your effective rate, far lower. Let me explain. A retired couple pulling $80,000 yearly from traditional accounts pays roughly 10% federal. That's it. Not 32, not 24. Around 10 after the standard deduction. That's the actual reality. So every dollar you prepay today at 32% could have been paid tomorrow at just 10. You're not saving tax. You're volunteering to overpay by 22 cents on every single dollar you converted. That gap compounds. If Rachel prepays $60,000 in tax on a conversion, that money could have stayed invested, growing, compounding. Over 15 years at 7%, that $60,000 becomes about $165,000. Gone. Not because she lost it in the market, because she handed it to the IRS a decade early. And this is only the beginning. Wait until you see the full compounding gap we haven't even touched. Now let's talk about the hidden mechanisms. The stuff nobody mentions when they wave the tax-free Roth flag around. Roth conversions inflate your current year income. That single number, your modified adjusted gross income, triggers a cascade. That cascade means other costs most people never see until it's too late. Here's the first hidden trigger. First, IRMAA. That's the Medicare surcharge that kicks in at 65, based on your income from 2 years earlier. Do a big Roth conversion at 63, and your Medicare premiums jump. Sometimes $200, $300, $500 monthly, per person. For a couple, that can mean $12,000 extra in a single year. Nobody warns you. Second, the Social Security torpedo. Up to 85% of your benefits become taxable once combined income crosses thresholds. A Roth conversion pushes you across those thresholds. Suddenly, benefits you thought were safe are getting taxed too. The effective marginal rate isn't 32% anymore. It's 40, sometimes 45, because Social Security stacks on top. Third, if you retire before 65, you might rely on ACA marketplace insurance, and those subsidies are also income tested. One big conversion and your subsidy vanishes. You could lose 15 or 20,000 in premium credits yearly, all to lock in a tax-free label on money you might never even withdraw. Fourth, state tax matters. Everyone talks federal. Almost nobody talks state. A Roth conversion in California or New York stacks 12%. But if you retire in Florida, Texas, or Tennessee, you'd pay zero state tax on that same conversion. You paid your home state a fat check on money about to move somewhere with no income tax. Now compare two identical savers at 70. This is where the story really turns hard against Roth. Here's the twist most advisors won't say out loud. Traditional often wins after 50. Not always, but often. Because the Roth's real advantage isn't returns. It isn't magic growth. It's flexibility. Plain and simple truth. And flexibility only matters if you're paying a fair price. Most people over 50 are paying way too much. Let's reframe this properly. A Roth isn't tax-free. It's tax prepaid. You didn't skip the tax at all. You paid it early, in cash, with money that could have been invested and compounding for decades instead. The question isn't whether Roth grows tax-free. It's whether the tax paid was smaller than tax paid later. For most 50-somethings, the honest answer is no. And the estate benefit? Oversold. Massively oversold, truth be told. The old pitch was that your kids would inherit a Roth and get decades of tax-free growth forever. That died in 2019 with the Secure Act. Inherited Roth IRA as must be drained within 10 years now. 10 years, that's it. Your grandkids don't get 40 years of magic growth anymore, just a short decade. The generational Roth dream is largely a myth now, and most advisors still pitch it like nothing ever changed. The 20-year projection will surprise you. Stay with me. Meet Roth Rachel and traditional Tom. Same age, same salary. Same $500,000 saved, same 7% expected return. The only difference is where the money actually sits. Rachel puts everything in her Roth. She's done conversions and paid the tax up front, about $120,000. Her account balance at 65 is beautiful, around $980,000, all completely tax-free forever. Tom kept his money in a traditional IRA. No upfront tax on conversions.
His 65 balance? 1100,000. Bigger because nothing was skimmed off the top. But he still owes tax on every future withdrawal. Now here's the trick. Tom invested the money he would have paid in tax into a regular brokerage account. That side account, growing 15 years at 7%, is worth roughly $230,000. Added to his traditional balance, Tom is sitting on about $1,330,000 total assets. Over 20 retirement years, Tom pulls $60,000 annually from his traditional IRA. Effective federal rate? Around 10%. He pays roughly $6,000 in tax annually. 20 years adds up to $120,000 in total. Rachel pays zero in retirement tax. Tax-free, remember? But she already handed over $120,000 upfront, plus the compounding opportunity cost, that missing $165,000 her prepaid tax would have grown into. Add them up.
Rachel's real cost of the Roth was closer to $280,000. Tom paid $120,000 across 2 decades. Rachel paid $280,000 in real economic terms. The Roth cost Rachel $160,000 more. Not because the strategy was wrong, the timing was wrong. That's the Roth premium. And most people over 50 are paying it right now without ever knowing it exists. The climax number is bigger than most expect. 6 figures, sometimes higher. That's the average gap I see. When I run numbers on high-earning 50-somethings who over Roth, the lifetime gap runs 1 to 200,000. That's wealth transferred from your family to the treasury, in exchange for a psychological comfort, feeling tax-free. Here's the truth. Tax-free feels safe, predictable, emotionally clean. But real wealth isn't about how it feels. Real wealth is about how much you keep. There's a difference between looking wealthy and actually being wealthy. Big Roth balance, no future tax bill, versus real cash flow. The average investor confuses these two. They chase the label. They optimize the story instead of the actual outcome. This is the behavioral trap. Roth feels comfortable. Traditional feels risky because you can see the future tax bill lurking ahead of you. So people prepay to escape the anxiety. Anxiety-driven finance is expensive finance. You are not buying tax freedom. You're buying peace of mind at retail price. And after 50, that peace of mind can cost a house. Here's the fix. 4 steps. Clean, clear, and built to keep your money working for you, not against. Step 1. Map your future brackets, not today's. Estimate what your taxable income will actually look like at 70. Include Social Security, pensions, and required minimum distributions from any traditional accounts, pushing up your future taxable income. Then look at actual federal brackets, not marginal, effective. Most middle-class retirees land between 10 and 18%. Compare that to your current marginal rate. If your current rate is higher, large Roth conversions today lose money. Step 2. Use Roth as a bracket filler, not a bulk strategy. The smart version isn't maxing conversions aggressively. It's filling the gap between where your income sits and the top of a low bracket. That's it. In a low-income year, early retirement, a sabbatical, convert just enough to fill the 12% bracket. That's cheap tax, the version worth prepaying. Converting inside 24 or 32% costs families 6 figures. Step 3. Partial conversions in low-income years. The window between retirement and Social Security is the golden zone. Retire at 62, delay Social Security to 70, you get 8 years of artificially low taxable income. That's where the real Roth magic lives. Small annual conversions done at 10 or 12%, not 32. That's how you earn the tax-free label without paying the Roth premium that most advisors quietly charge you. Most people miss this window entirely. They convert too early while working or too late after distributions start. Step 4. Coordinate everything with Social Security timing. This is where sophisticated planners genuinely earn their fee, honestly. Every dollar you convert affects when and how much of your Social Security gets taxed each year. Every dollar of Social Security directly affects IRMAA. Every dollar of IRMAA affects your monthly cash flow. It's one connected system, not 4 separate decisions. If your advisor sees Roth in isolation, they're missing everything. Here's the meta rule that ties it all together. Diversify your tax buckets, not just your assets. You want 3 pots at retirement: a traditional pot taxable on withdrawal, a Roth pot completely tax-free, and there's a regular brokerage pot taxed at capital gains rates, usually the lowest bracket of the 3. With all 3 pots available, you get to choose which pocket you pull from each year strategically. Bad income year? Pull from traditional at low brackets. Big purchase year?
Use Roth so it doesn't spike. Steady year? Blend from brokerage. That flexibility is worth more than any single account type. That's tax alpha. And yes, Roth still wins sometimes after 50. If you expect a huge inheritance pushing future brackets higher, if you're a very high earner staying high in retirement, or plan to leave money to charity.
Those are edge cases. Real ones, sure, but they're not the average investor watching this video. Most people over 50 are over-offing their money and paying the premium without ever realizing they're paying it. One more mistake quietly kills this plan. Here's what I haven't told you yet about a second timing trap. There's a second timing trap coming for everyone with a traditional IRA. Required minimum distributions at age 73. At 73, the IRS forces you to start withdrawing whether you want to or not. No exceptions allowed. That forced income can push you into a bracket you spent decades carefully and deliberately trying to avoid. It amplifies every mistake we just talked about. IRMAA spikes, Social Security torpedo triggers, state tax, all at once, all at 73. The Roth conversion decision at 54 isn't just about today's tax. It's about the shape of your income at 73. And honestly, that's a whole video of its own.
How RMDs quietly restructure your entire retirement plan and the 3 years where you can diffuse them before detonation. If you missed my last video on the free tax buckets, that's the foundation for everything we just covered. The buckets aren't just about diversification, they're about optionality, the freedom to choose your tax rate yearly, instead of letting the IRS choose it for you. Here's the reframe I want you to keep going forward. Smarter money moves, not louder ones, not flashier ones, not the ones your neighbor brags about at barbecues. The Roth isn't bad, the blind Roth is bad, the default Roth is bad, the advisor-pushed Roth is bad. The strategic, small, timed, bracket-filling Roth is beautiful. That's the version that builds real wealth after 50. Before you go, one small ask that helps. If this reframed your retirement thinking, subscribe to Andy Explains Money.
Next video we are breaking down the Social Security claiming age trap and why timing decides everything for families. Why claiming at 62 costs some families $300,000 and delaying to 70 backfires for others. Drop a comment. Tell me your Roth strategy. Converting, holding, splitting the difference? I read every single one. Here's the thing to walk away with. The tax-free label is not a real strategy. It's marketing. Real strategy is knowing your future brackets, filling the cheap ones and avoiding the expensive ones entirely. Keep your options open until the last possible moment. That's how the wealthy actually plan retirement wisely. Not with dogma, with math. Your Roth might be the best account you own or the worst. The difference is entirely about timing. And after 50, timing is everything you have left to control. Make the smarter money moves. I'll see you